An exact description was... We have a bulletin just received. According to a report not yet confirmed, a beast of proportions has been sighted lurking in the hills due northeast of town. City officials have called for military help. Planes and troops are expected to arrive within the next 2 hours. Meanwhile...
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're watching PNT. I'm your host, wondering precisely what a starfish orgasming would look like. Up front this week, according to online sources and an article by UPI, one Australian man found killing a spider far more complicated than he originally thought. Our story begins when Rise Howard of Perth, Australia, a longtime arachnophobe, was watching his daughter while his wife showered. Spotting an eight-legged invader, a horrified Howard reacted like any reasonable person who ate spiders would, by shrieking loudly, waking his infant daughter, who also started screaming. Howard then grabbed the nearest available object, in this case a diaper, and proceeded to smash the offending arachnid while screaming, "Why won't you die?" His wails and his daughter's cries apparently grew so loud that concerned neighbors called local police to investigate. After conquering his childhood phobia with judicious applications of his fragrant flail, Howard and his wife were surprised when the authorities appeared at their door, inquiring after the welfare of their child. After laughingly explaining the incident to the officers, Howard's wife led them to the backyard where her husband was playing with their daughter. Inquiring, "Did you get it?" with some amusement, the protectors of the law then asked to see evidence of the arachnid assault. The officers fortunately declined to press charges either on the embarrassed Mr. Howard or on the spider, whose sentence had already been carried out. For PNT's part, we have to admire Mr. Howard's aplomb under a stressful situation and applaud his use of a bio-friendly weapon. Personally, our approach would have been a little more extreme. I love the smell of Lucas in the morning. From spider slaughters to squirrel salvos, our next story takes us to Illinois, where local police just may have met their match while facing off with one furry felon. Officers from the McHenry Police Department posted a video to Facebook that shows officers attempting to remove a squirrel from the foyer of the police station without letting it inside. The rambunctious rodent is shown scampering around, leaping from the walls and doing its best to stymie its erstwhile opponents, one of whom can be seen leaping onto a chair in what the department later termed a tactical maneuver. Officers were eventually able to escort the slippery squirrel out of the building without harm, leaving the patrolman severely shaken with lasting repercussions from the horrible attack. In a recent statement, the department reiterated its relief at the squirrel's eventual escape unscathed, but noted that, quote, "Our officers, on the other hand, are seeking counseling." For the final part of our weekly roundup of the weird, PNT is pleased to bring you another report taken from the MUFON database. Filmed in Oregon this last New Year's Eve, the tape appears to show 3 reddish orbs moving and rotating about the outskirts of Crescent Lake. Let's have a look at the footage.
red lights moving in the same flight path, not flashing, moving above us at, we were at 4,000 feet.
Okay, Mark.
The third red light is coming into,
Left.
it's coming over the trees.
The one on the top is going left.
Now they're changing direction. That is not normal aircraft flight behavior.
Oh my God!
That, now it's
Oh
retrograding. It is moving
God.
backwards in the direction that it came from.
Kathy, get out of here, quick as you can. I swear. You gotta see this. No, I swear. You need to see it.
The second aircraft is moving further towards us.
Red and orange lights.
Now the first one is going dim.
Each other.
The first one's going dim. The second and the third aircraft are still coming towards us.
You need to witness this.
So the third one's going out, and now we just have the second one. That's all that's left, and coming towards us.
They just showed up. It's like we were talking and they just showed up.
And they're okay. Now it's turning to the left. It's veering. It's veering. It was coming towards. Now it's veering. It's going towards the direction of the first aircraft
Or whatever.
or the first object. It's bright red, not
Orange.
or white like
can't
the
miss it.
stars behind it.
You can't miss it. So what are we watching?
Now it's going backwards. It's going back down towards the direction it came from.
What is that?
It's going away. It's going back away from us, from the way it came. Aircraft would not do that. Aircraft would follow the flight path of the now it turned left.
Do that.
It's going backwards. It's going left. It's going out.
it's
Now it's
gone.
gone. It's gone. It's out.
No, not
It's
quite.
back,
No,
It's gone.
but it keeps flickering.
But wait a minute, Mark. What happened to the other two?
the other two are gone. We don't know what direction they went. They went.
They came.
They formed a triangle. Then they turned around and they went away.
We seen the first one, and then next thing you know, there's three of them.
So what was the object filmed hovering over the edges of one remote Oregon town? Let's run down the possibilities. Birds are unlikely, unless 3 of them were on fire and moving in formation over the forest. Balloons, while a possibility, would be subjected to the air currents found at higher altitudes and would likely be unable to hold steady and perform the motions seen in the tape. Natural phenomena, such as ball lightning or the infamous swamp gas, is also unlikely, as these are generally found close to the ground, being respectively caused by geomagnetic shifts and pockets of methane. Astronomical phenomena can also be ruled out, as the objects do not match with the behavior of meteorites or similar bolides. Stars, obviously, do not rotate or flicker out. Clouds are also unlikely suspects for obvious reasons. The witness himself notes the clear and cold conditions, which would also further serve to put the kibosh on the cloud theory. The witness also rules out satellites, having already seen several pass overhead earlier that evening. The witness also purports to have aviation experience, which brings us to our next logical cause: civilian or military aircraft, including drones. The witness estimates that the lights were at an approximate altitude of 10,000 feet, and quite correctly states that the legal FAA limit for drones is far below that threshold, being set at a mere 400 feet. The size of the lights seen in the video would also tend to cast doubt on drones, although LED fixtures are commonly available that can make a drone appear to be virtually any color. There is one further complication with the drone theory, which is that it would require 3 drones operating in tandem to duplicate the motions seen here. While it is within the realm of possibility that 3 drone owners might collaborate to hoax a UFO sighting, or just be flying for fun in the dark on New Year's Eve, this does stretch the bounds of credibility quite a bit. That leaves us with commercial or military aircraft. Commercial planes, even small private ones, would be subject to the same line of reasoning as the drones. While it is within the realm of possibility, it is just as unlikely that 3 pilots would collaborate in nighttime maneuvers over the Oregon wilderness. Further giving lie to this possibility, PNT searched for nearby airports. While there are a few airfields nearby to the site location, they are too small to support planes large enough to account for the motion of the orbs. That brings us, as always, to the possibility that these are military craft. PNT also searched for nearby military installations, finding plenty along the Oregon coastline, but few scattered throughout the remainder of the state, and none in the area of the sighting. The last remaining logical possibility is also the most obvious, given the fact that the incident occurs on New Year's Eve. Even given the remoteness of the area, fireworks, legal or otherwise, leads the pack of probable causes for the lights, but not without some doubt. While the witness makes repeated mention of fireworks throughout his statement, he also takes great pains to eliminate this as a possible cause, even mentioning the fact that he had noticed the initial light at around 9 p.m., quite some time before midnight. The movement pattern also does not match the characteristics of any known fireworks or flares, with the objects clearly moving about and not fading or falling straight down as a firework or flare would. So what then does that leave us? Having either eliminated or cast serious doubt upon the logical possibilities, we can now turn to the unknown. Is it possible that these objects were in fact alien craft come to visit for purposes unknown? It is worth pointing out that the sighting occurred in a remote area of the Oregon wilderness, and that this area has long been a hotbed of UFO activity, stretching all the way back to the July 4th invasion of Portland in 1947. What could be drawing UFOs to this remote stretch of the northwestern United States? Is it possible that there might exist a base or installation that these unknown objects call home? Could it perhaps be the intergalactic equivalent of a research station here on Earth? We may never know for certain, but we do know the possibilities are tantalizing. But whether the objects filmed last New Year's Eve moving over the skies of Crater Lake, Oregon, were illegal fireworks, secret military craft, or something else entirely, we'll leave up to our faithful viewers to decide. Sound off in the comment section below with your thoughts. That's it for this time, faithful viewers. Be sure to click like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when PNT presents your next portion of the paranormal. I'm your host, reminding you to keep an open mind, because a closed one shuts out the truth.